Coucou les coucous! De retour à Thomas Was Alone pour le deuxième épisode. Et on continue, sans tarder. Donc on avait Thomas, Chris puis John.
This was interesting. A floating target. This would require coordination, balance, and timing. John was sure the dots would be lost, but he was happy to guide them to triumph.
Voilà. On pourrait faire des jumps, mais on va y aller avec
Maybe
le
that's
petit.
what the dots were for. They were there to extend John's reach, to make his performance even more impressive.
Yeah,
John
sure.
liked the thought. He decided to keep them.
Savoir c'est qui est moins pire entre Chris puis John rendu là. Arrogant, much. The initial group posed simple variation in size and strength. More complex configurations were inevitable. As the era spread, these variations became increasingly extreme.
So, this was how Claire would die. She knew it would happen eventually. She was rubbish at jumping, and she moved slowly. She felt a little like her continued existence was breaking some kind of natural order. The crumbling pillar was a dramatic death, she supposed. Wait, what? Claire couldn't shake the feeling that she was not, in fact, dead.
You think?
It was at that moment that
Invisible
Claire
wall.
realised she had superpowers. She'd need a cape. There was no getting around that. You couldn't be a superhero without a cape. Claire didn't want confusion. If you saw a cape, that made matters clear. You knew what you were dealing with. Claire was all about communication.
Ok, ça on a trouvé
You
Claire.
know, floating in water, which was her superpower.
Et on a rencontré John, mais les deux autres sont pas là. Oh,
All right, fear not, my skinny friends, for I am Claire, and I will save you.
Super Claire.
Claire needed to come up with a superhero name as soon as possible. Claire was rubbish.
Thomas, je t'inviterai à pas tomber. Claire, numéro 4. Yay! Success! Encore une fois, très basic, hein, comme...
Claire arrived just in time, which was, of course, the perfect moment for superheroes to arrive.
Claire peut se noyer pareil, fait il faut libérer le passage.
As the water began to rise, Claire vowed to save this little rectangle in as many restarts as it took.
We're breaking the fourth wall.
Claire wondered if Thomas would make a good sidekick. Or was she more the lone Avenger type? She'd like that. The sole hero in a world of rectangles and conveniently placed pools of toxic water.
Oh, Thomas, c'est pas ici. You know what? Claire, tasse-toi.
The others told Claire that staircases were a bit of a fixture here. Claire wondered why the world made it so difficult.
Non, dans le trou. C'est numéro 3 ici. Non, numéro 2, je me suis trompé. Ouais. Ça peut rester ici. C'est clair. Et John peut venir.
Probably needed a nemesis, a villain who would show their true colours at the worst possible moment, hurting all she held dear. Chris was the most obvious choice. He seemed stroppy enough, and his jump was so pathetic that it conveniently avoided Claire's insecurities. Yes, Chris. Diabolical Chris. The fiendish Christopher.
John et finalement Claire. Le tableau il crache.
Dave, where had Chris gone? Was he off somewhere? Plotting Claire's downfall?
Oh no!
If Claire was honest, and she had to be because she was a superhero, this was a troubling turn of events. Still, there were reasonably sized bodies of water to cross.
C'est à un moment-là que je me rappelle que John est juste capable de sauter sans problème. Claire, peux-tu sortir de ça? Ouais. Allez, John, t'es capable. Monte cette côte. Toujours pas Chris.
Moving platforms over water, eh? Claire's newly heightened senses told her that there were multiple paths across with various possible configurations of the little posse.
John doesn't care. John fait juste sauter.
They were doing really well. Claire hoped she could get them all across. John was fully aware he could do this alone. Thomas hoped he'd never have to.
Aww. Et finalement, John. 2.9. Alright. Claire tout seul. Alright, had to check.
Claire was alone, which was odd, because she wasn't meant to be alone. She needed to be where there were rectangles to save. Being the only superhero in a given space kind of defeats the object. Spikes? That was new. Claire avoided them. She decided they were most likely her kryptonite. Not the rubbish red kryptonite either, the proper radioactive green stuff.
Hey, Superman. Hop. Même tableau, mais avec Thomas.
Wow. Deja vu. The world was repeating. And this time Thomas was here. Claire felt something had gone wrong. There was a disturbance in the force. Something had altered the matrix. The world was reacting to their progress. It was amassing its forces. It was plotting against them. Claire finally had a nemesis.
Clever girl. Had a nemesis. Who? The world. Je fais pas confiance à Thomas. Je pense pas qu'il serait juste mort et il aurait spawn en arrière. You know, one definite option. Et voilà. Oh. Hey. C'est John sur le côté. I built protection into the system. When overlaps occur, the ward generates a splitter to remove the unwanted additional. It's like a white blood cell. Investigate, it captures, and it removes from play. Geronimo! Ok, il est là.
Laura was pleased this one was behind a wall. Maybe he'd never know what she could do. Maybe they could just have a conversation. Hang out. As long as he didn't find out what she could do. Which would never happen so long as they stayed separate.
Parce qu'à date, tu fais pas grand chose. What? C'est quoi ça?
Laura didn't have time to worry about the ominous pixel cloud. It had been following her for some time, and it had kept itself to itself until now. More important was the little orange thing, which was looking at her in a way that she kind of, well, liked.
Chris haït tout le monde. Et voilà, le pouvoir de Laura. She makes people bounce. Ah, encore le cloud.
As the square, who had shyly introduced himself as Chris, bounced atop Laura, she began to worry that he was just using her like all the others had.
Uh-huh.
They'd all bounced too, and then they disappeared when her back was turned.
Monkey more jump.
Only the ominous pixel cloud ever remained, looking a little bigger and a little less hungry with every disappearing friend.
Je pense que tu ne fais pas abandonner, ma chère. Encore Chris puis Laura.
With every bounce, Laura found herself less and less irritated by Chris. She started to miss him when he wasn't there, on another platform or something.
Oh, Chris, t'es capable. T'es bon, Chris. souvenir de Laura.
She'd wonder what he was up to. Was he missing her? He wasn't saying very much.
Chris est pas en train de chialer. Il chiale dedans dans sa tête, je suis pas sûr. Ouais.
Chris was in love.
Wait, what?
She was perfect. He had to tell her so. At some point, he would definitely tell her. Probably best to wait for a moment the large, ominous pixel cloud wasn't about, though. Yeah, probably best to wait.
Ouais, mais là... Ok. Disons que je veux faire passer Chris tout seul parce que sinon il va le faire en avançant tout le long. Et ça sonne comme pire que juste des simple jump. Et voilà. Ah! Oh, hey! Oh, hey! Je veux jump 4.
Chris was massively disappointed to run into the gang again. He'd enjoyed the alone time with his new girlfriend.
Oh, hi, Cloud. John, tasse-toi s'il te plaît. Thomas numéro 3. Non? Ok.
Was it too early to refer to Laura as his girlfriend? Only if I say it out loud, he told himself. He didn't want to scare her off.
You wouldn't want her to know you're a creep. Rock est à la bonne place. Thomas. Et finir avec Chris.
The others seemed suspicious of Laura, and the eager-looking pixel cloud of death which seemed to be watching her. Sure, they'd use her inherent bounciness to reach slightly higher jump points, but they wouldn't strike up a conversation with her. Chris found them rude. Rude? And always there.
Comme ceci. On revient à toi. Alright, moi je pense que je vais appeler ça un épisode. On va trouver la fin avec Madame Laura. Puis on va revenir à la prochaine. Hey! John, I need you. À la fin. Ah, oui. Alors, je vais vous dire au revoir et à bientôt.